Let me tell you something about regrets. I don't believe in them. I don't think you have reason to either, to be honest. Honestly, all regrets are literally just thoughts or events that have happened that you can turn into lessons, really. Anything that you aren't proud of and regret, you shouldn't regret at all, really. Because think about it. Whatever regret you might have about something you've done in the past has made you into the person you are today. It's simply built you to be the best version of yourself. Whatever thing you considered wrong for the time being was something that made you your best self. It was, I guess, in a sense, a failure, but also not at the same time. It might have been a failure in your eyes, but in the grand scheme of things and overall, it was never really a failure at all. It was something that, if anything, was, I don't want to say something to be celebrated, but something that was meant to happen. It was crucial in your life. It was quite literally meant to happen for you. So whatever regret you might have, and whatever might be consuming you, occupying space in your brain, something you did in the past, the best thing you can do is reshape that regret into a lesson for you. It was something to help you learn along the way. And learning is always great. Learning from past mistakes that you've made, or unquote mistakes, and being able to apply that to your future to become a better person. I mean, like, that's a win-win right there. I mean, think about it. Anything you do that involves some sort of risk is a learn. Excuse me. Learn, win. Or win, learn, I guess. And it could also be a win-win. And what I mean by this is, say, whatever high-risk scenario you're putting yourself into could either turn out really well, or in your mind, turn out really shit. If it goes really well, then you got what you wanted, that's great. You didn't really learn anything, but you took a step forward, and it was a scary step forward, and congrats, you did it, and you took a big W there. So that's the first thing that can happen. And the second thing that can happen with a high-risk scenario is it doesn't go your way. And it goes completely shit, and just ends up not being how you would have wanted it to happen. And that's okay, because that's a lot of things in life, by the way. But when that happens, you've learned, and when you learn, you've still won. So regardless of whatever scenario you're putting yourself into, you're still winning. One of my biggest examples of this is, for me, earlier on in the school year. Actually, it was like the first week of school this year. I was in my big approaching girls phase, because I thought, I don't know what I was on about with that, to be honest. I mean, some of that stuff that you might see on the internet regarding approaching is true, but not all of it is, for sure. But me being the person I am, a little bit deluded at the time, just a little bit with that kind of stuff, I wanted to get some approaches in with girls and, practice, I guess, which is, I guess, the wrong way to look at it, because approaching women is not a game. So don't treat it like one. Don't believe the stuff you see on YouTube regarding that kind of stuff, because it's not always factual. But anyways, besides the point, I think it was probably the very end of that first week I hit an approach to the library. And I don't know, in my mind, I was like, okay, if I do this, or, excuse me, when I do this, it's either going to go great and I get a number, or it's going to go to shit and nothing's going to happen. Let me tell you what happened. So I ended up approaching one girl that I thought was really cute, right? And I just was pretty straightforward, to be honest, because I didn't really know how to go about it. So I kind of just made up a plan in my mind and went from there. But anyways, obviously the plan didn't work. She had a boyfriend, so I walked away kind of feeling stupid. In the moment, I was like, oh my God, why did I just do that? And the more I let it sit, I was like, at least I did it, Like, at least I did something I wanted to do. I saw an attractive girl, and I wanted to go say something, and I did. So, I mean, sure, it didn't go my way, but I still did it. So, I mean, at least I took some action. And taking some action in a scenario like that is the best thing you can do. So, I mean, you didn't get it. You didn't get nothing out of it, Something still came out of it. You learned. That whole interaction for me lasted maybe 15 seconds. It was in and out just like that. It was like that long, It took no time at all. And when it was done, and I'd thought about it for a bit, it was like, I don't regret doing that because I learned a little something, You might get rejected sometimes whenever you go to approach an attractive girl, and they might say no. And at the end of the day, you don't really lose anything at all. Like, it's not like it's a personal thing, When they reject you, they're not doing it because they want to hurt your feelings, They do it because, I don't know, they probably get a boyfriend or something. And if that's the way it is, then, that's the way it is. You can't control that. So, I mean, you still learned, though. You still did it. It's why, stuff like that, it doesn't really scare me as much anymore. Higher risk scenarios that seem scary in my mind, they're not really that scary in the grand scheme of things. And again, we only live once in life, We don't have 70, I don't know, some of us don't have 70 plus years to be able to do, big things, Sure, we can do plenty of stuff in the time we have, but we don't live forever. And you gotta make the most of that time. Because if you don't, you're gonna become, I don't know, however old you get, and you're gonna regret the fact that you didn't do that. Because you might have really benefited from that. In fact, putting yourself in that kind of situation could change the course of your life, Doing big things that are scary, that might involve us getting rejected, are great for us. Because the chance of it going well is equal as it is to having it go bad. And that's still a big chance of it going well. And that's the part you gotta consider. So, if it does go wrong, you won't be as upset by it. You kind of gotta take both in stride. You gotta take both sides of the equation equally. You can't, think about one side more than the other. You can't think about the bad outcome more than the positive one. Because if you think about the bad one more, you're not gonna do it. If you think about the good one more than the bad one, you're gonna end up being disappointed if you get rejected, And then that's gonna make you not want to do it. You kind of gotta take both into consideration and kind of just have an even standpoint on it. And be like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And that's the way it is. So I guess my moral for today's video is simply put yourself in a high-risk scenario. Do something crazy, before you can. Because you don't have forever to do something big. Put yourselves out there, because it's worth it. Trust me. But that's all I got for today, to be honest. Stay blessed.